Good morning. Welcome to part 2 of stage 2 extraction, ethanol extraction of a 6 mushroom blend. While we're waiting for this to take place, to finish, let me zoom in and show you what's going on here. It's dropping down. And it's boiling off. While we're waiting for this to finish, I roughly, let me see quick what do I have. All right, so I'm almost at 40 milliliters left in the boiling chamber. And it's close. It took all night. Came and checked on it a few times, and about 2 hours ago it began to condense into the vial you see there. So we're at the last point of it. Although I read an interesting article on ethanol, it says to cool it down to almost 2 degrees that would freeze water. Then begin the process to soak it in whatever you want to soak it in, and then boil it off. So I'll have to look into that further and see what that's all about. But it's not intuitive process, I would say. The issue is more along the lines of me. Am I doing it right, or am I doing it good enough? Well, so far, I mean, if it's smokiness, it's becoming pretty good. But all right, so the trick now is, once that's finished, is to get it out of that container all in one piece. Without losing too much. I'm trying to gain the most out of it. It's been taking longer than I expected it to. The filtration process took much longer. Granted, I've so far when I've done the gravity filtration, I just let it go, and then, oh yeah, I was doing that like a day later. So I didn't really realize how long it actually takes for the gravity filtration process to take place. So it's good morning, beautiful day, a bit cold outside. How interesting it is to go from cigarette vaping or nicotine vaping to mushroom vaping. In that I just vape. 323 puffs on this tip already. This pod, remember I had, if you remember, I had replaced this one and the other one the last video, and I'm at, on this one at 4,323, 25. It counts how many puffs they take, and I'll sit there and I'll do 100 in a row maybe. Generally speaking, I do 5, I think, maybe 4 at a time. So currently, my issue was this popcock here. Right here, halfway between the beaker and the teardrop looking thing, there's a valve there. And as popcock goes in there, it has a slight hole in the center of it. So if you turn it one way, it bleeds through. You turn it the other way, it stops. So somehow I got the wrong plug in there, and I can't find the popcock. I looked everywhere for it. So that's an issue. Because here, I would like to this one right here. It's just going right around it. It's not the correct one that goes in there. That goes up in here. So for some reason, I misplaced it. And that's disconcerting. I mean, this is all in a shoestring budget. I really have no money to actually spend on this. I have less money to spend on vaping. So I've been saving money by making my own vaping solution. So I would like to, this is why I'm showing you this, is to give you the opportunity to not only make some money, but to save some money on your own vaping. If you're so inclined, this rig cost me, what, 129 bucks. This magnetic stir heater cost me 35, was it? Another 34 for this raising table, 24 for the scale. So losing a piece like that is going to bother me all week. But I can't afford to buy another piece. And then this whole rig came with a heating pad. This monstrosity, right? But this one works better, or works for me. I mean, I wanted to get piecemeal, but the whole rig, the whole rig was like something like 120 bucks. I mean, I could have saved $20 and got this one instead of that one, so I ended up with 2 heaters. That's never good when you end up with a couple things. You know, it's getting close. It says I have 60 milliliters in the beaker on the bottom. Now I wanted there's a stirring cauldron where you would slip a round base of, like this one that has a flat base, but there's a heating cauldron where you can, it heats around it and stirs it. Wanted to get that, but you know, money, money, money. What's the best thing? What's this? What's that? Everything, all the information I look up, I keep seeing it. You know, it's all about cannabis. I'm not interested in cannabis at this point. And then the other aspect is psychedelics, but this isn't anything to do with psychedelics. This is medicinal mushrooms on a positive branch. Even though psychedelics are medicinal in a sense, but again, it's one of those categories that require the special people. Those are people who, well, for number one, it's a controlled substance. However, if luckily you find a strain of it, as long as you get it listed, you could use it for your own supply from that point on. That's the good news about psilocybin. But this is a normal mushroom. So basically what I'm doing with the extraction is I'm getting the triterpenes from the cordyceps and the turkey tail. That's for the flavor, the ultimate flavor. I mean, the rest of it, sure. You know, agarikon, chaga, lion's mane, and tiger milk. Everything has its triterpenes. But the article I read was that the cordyceps and turkey tail have the essentials, what you're looking for when you do the extraction. They all have that. I know I keep saying triterpenes. I mean, there's other benzos, I guess, or I don't know, butyltols or something like that. But the point is you have the hot water extraction, which is this. This is in the hot water extraction version. They've already taken the mushrooms and they boiled them out, right? And then they dried it into a powder, and I got the powder. So I'm doing the ethanol extraction to break out the solids. Now, my only, it sounds good to say, oh, I'm getting all these other things in it. But what I really wanted to do was to break down the solids so I can actually vape it. Because the solids would clog the coil. And you end up not vaping anything. But this does a wonderful job on it, on breaking down the solids. And the flavor is just awesome. You know, I mean, if you could smell this, it smells like mushrooms. But of course. So what are we waiting for? Just waiting for enough ethanol to leave. I need to get all the residue out of this bottle. Mix it with my glycerin, a high portion of glycerin actually. This is let me see, did I zoom back out? Yes. Yeah, I know. It's just sort of pointless for me to have recorded this at all, because it's not where I wanted it to be this morning. So we'll still see. Here, I'll zoom in again and show you. What's going on there. And then what's going on there. So there's any more. It's disconcerting that I lost that pop cup. So I'll have to figure out if I can get another one. Well, I got the 500 milliliter set. I guess for another $30, I could have got the 1,000 milliliter set. But I'm happy with this. I have, I'm happy with having a 100 milliliter beaker. This cleans out beautifully with the ethanol. Once I get it all finished. What I was doing the last time, very hot. So overnight, the temperature up here had to raise to the point to where you have the boiling of the ethanol up in here as well. So I was keeping that at boiling, but the heat had to continue to come up to here. So that's why it took so long for it to get to the point where it starts to drip it out, condensation of the ethanol back into the liquid form. So once it heated up enough up here, it would allow it to go down through this condenser, this Graham condenser. Part of the issue I had early on apparently was I didn't lower the rubber band far enough to make it a rubber seal, and I ended up with a lot of debris on the outside of this. I got a nice stain on there. So I don't know. It was a bunch of slightly plus I'm stirring it. I'm not just directly boiling it. So stirring it keeps the surface tension, I guess, off. But let's talk about this mushroom, 6-blend mushrooms, this shroom fume I'm trying to get together. We've known for centuries that mushrooms are beneficial to us. It's just that in the last 100 years, we had stepped away from it during the last 100 years. And at 2017, we decided to go back into it. There's a study, 1940 study on all the mushrooms that we can get a hold of. They did an excellent job on that. And then it just went to food. Well, perhaps I should come back with a dossier to read from, so you guys wouldn't be sitting here watching me watch this. So one of the interesting things about glycerin is that it does break down the solids of the mushrooms on its own. But as I showed you when I was mixing this, or filtering this, oh, I wanted to show you this too. Let's see. So I put a double-sided tape around the outside of this so I can just keep it onto the bowl as best as possible. at least it hugs to it. But see how clean I got it, you know. And that's the ethanol. It did that. And, you know, and then a quick rinse. And then I have, this is the glycerin in from the first process, stage 1, or part 1 of stage 2, and this is part 2 of stage 2. This is stage 2. So what I want to do is I'm going to filter this out, mix this with that, and that's roughly 100 milliliters. Then that would be 800 more milliliters of glycerin to mix with the final set. I know, I must sound retarded this morning, but I was in a tizzel. I misplaced this. I was looking all over the place. I was afraid I was going to miss the moment to video. It looks like I'm just going to not post this video. Maybe I will. But it's just annoying. I can't find the pop. Cop. I get a lot of, you can't do that here. And I say, yeah, of course I can do it here. This is mushrooms. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody said that to me. Nobody said you can't do it here. I do it anywhere. But I'm just curious as to how I'm going to speak to the next person. You buy health supplements because you want products that work and that are easy to use and are safe for you and your family. Longevity Botanicals is committed to deliver for you. That's Longevity Botanicals made this. Agaricon. Salt, coffee, smoothie, other foods. It says great with. It says hot water extracted. So when you're looking for this, you want to find fruiting body on it. On all this stuff. Although mycelium is better, it has more of the components that we want into the vape, but the problem is in today's hot water extractions or growing, there's a growing medium where what do they call it? It's strata something. But what it amounts to is that you have the offal, the garbage that mushrooms grow from, right? Mushrooms break down other things to grow, whether it be tree roots, grass. But we have found that as a people, we have found that rice does an excellent job to grow mushrooms from, the mycelium. But the problem with rice and vaping products is that rice tastes nasty when it's burnt. I'm sure you burned rice in the past, and that smell is what you get when you do it with this. I made the mistake of getting tiger's milk and getting cordyceps that were from mycelium. I was all happy to have gotten it because I understand that that's what you want. And unfortunately, they grew it from rice, and it turned out to be the most disgusting vape thing ever. So be careful on when you choose what medium it has grown from. Now, back in the 30s, I want to say when they were really pushing the envelope on harvesting mushrooms en masse, they found out that tobacco clippings, the stuff left over, the stems and whatnot left over from tobacco, was a great medium for it. A great medium. You know, so I have a box of tobacco sticks. They use for allowing pigeons to roost. Well, because tobacco has a natural antibiotic thing going on with it, an nasty. Because pigeons are just nasty, and so the more help they have to keep themselves clean, the better. So I got that from a pigeon retailer. And I went to grow my own cordyceps, and you understand that cordyceps has a bacterium that grows with it. When you put it in a petri dish, it pops up, and most you can excise it just to get the spore print from the cordyceps, which is normal. But the thing about it is, when you do that, you need a clean area, and even though you have a clean area, etc., the cordyceps has this bacterium with it anyway. So a lot of people that are doing that level of involvement are upset over the bacterium, but it's okay because it's the symbiotic nature of that. Now the reason why that's like that is the bacterium is what the insects like the ants like. They eat the bacterium, so they basically harvest the bacterium on the leaf cutting ants, for example, bring the leaves in there for the fungus, and they eat the fungus. In this regard, they eat the bacterium. Cordyceps has been known to cover many things that live near the ground, like tarantulas, etc. So there's a lot of information on cordyceps, but one of the primary things about cordyceps is its ability to, with my purpose, is the lungs. It numbs. It gives that pleasant feeling. All right, so, well, thank you very much for taking your time and watching me do this for half an hour of nothing. Sorry about that. Have a beautiful day, and we'll get to the next video eventually. Bye.